All right, I think we gave the camera guy enough time for our broadcast at home, so I'm going to officially open up this regular City Commission meeting of Monday, May 18th. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We begin, as always, by acknowledging the land on which we gather as the territory of the Ottawa and Chippewa peoples who have stewarded this land through the generations. Thank you for your strength and resilience in protecting this land and inspiring us to uphold our responsibilities to do the same. With that, I will have you go ahead with Sarah with roll call, please.
Commissioner Bomer?
Here.
Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ness?
Here.
Commissioner Shaw?
Here.
Commissioner Funk?
Here.
Commissioner Treadwell?
Here.
Mayor?
Here. And we'll continue with announcements from the city manager, please.
Yes, good evening. I have some announcements for this week, the week of May 18th, 2026. I first want to say that today is Traverse City's 131st birthday.
All right.
131 years ago today, Traverse City was incorporated as a city. I want to thank our humanitarian honorees for all they do for Traverse City, and I congratulate them. They'll be presented here shortly. The city recently was awarded a $100,000 community placemaking grant from Project for Public Spaces to support improvements in the East Side Social District. After hosting a community workshop on May 6th, a survey is now available on the city's website for those who couldn't attend. So that survey is up until or through May 22nd. It can be found on the city's website under news, and I encourage people to complete that. Last week, Wednesday of last week, the city welcomed our new fire chief, Aaron Bunier, who is here with us. He began service on May 13th, and I want to also remind the community that they're invited to attend an open house to welcome our new chief, Chief Bunier, on May 28th. That's from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on West Front Street. And I encourage residents to join us in welcoming this important addition to our team. I want to congratulate Technology Director Jerry Swanson on his recent completion of a 12-week program in IT Management and Leadership Studies from the IT Management and Leadership Institute. We certainly encourage the professional development of our team, and I appreciate Jerry's initiative in pursuing this level of development, which covered areas including team building, budgeting, AI strategy, leadership management, of course, technology, and change management. So again, congratulations to Jerry. And then the last announcement that I have is that the city offices will be closed Monday, May 25th in observance of Memorial Day. And as a reminder, Memorial Day is a United States federal holiday dedicated to mourning and honoring military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. So we do thank them, and it's a day to observe their contributions to our country. And that's all that I've got. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Benjamin. And Sarah, announcements from the city clerk, please.
Sure. I just have a couple. Meetings scheduled for this week is the Planning Commission will meet on Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m. here in the Commission chambers. The Complete Streets Advisory Committee will meet Thursday, May 21st, and I've had the wrong day, at 9 a.m. in the committee room, and I'm anticipating no meeting for us next week.
Correct. All right. Well, thank you for that. Now I'm going to hand over the kind of chair here to the chair of the Human Rights Commission, Jen Loop, to go over our winners for the Human Rights Businesses and Organizations and our Sarah Hardy Awards winner. So take it away, Jen.
Hello, City Commissioners. I'm Jen Loop. I'm the chair of the Human Rights Commission. Every year we like to honor a person an individual in the community that exemplifies the values of the Human Rights Commission and their humanitarian work in the community. We also now recognize two businesses and organizations each year. So I have 3 awardees tonight. All of these people were nominated, and there were many good nominations, and the Human Rights Commission then votes on who we'd like to honor this year. They all have a few things to say, but I'll go through each of these organizations. First, the reason we do 2 organizations is one with employees, number of employees 30 and under, and then 30 and over, because different sizes of businesses are doing different things. So first, I would like to welcome up Abigail McKiernan from HealthLink.
Hello, I don't know who to address. I want to address everyone.
Technically, you address us, but the public's all behind you.
That's perfect. I prefer that. So I want to start this really fast with how many of you, whether at 2, at 52, at 102, have ever helped somebody with a car repair, with a ride to the airport, with groceries? Everyone, someone's got to raise your hands. I know you're looking. Good, good, good. How many of you, whether 2 or 52 or 102, have ever needed help because your car broke down or you lost your wallet? Right, okay, good. So congratulations, I think we're all in a humanitarian effort together here. All we did, I'd love to take all of the credit here, but the truth is we took that reality that every single one of us is both a giver and a receiver, and then created this space that allows people to both ask and give in a safe environment where both parties feel connected to their community. I moved to this community when I was 15. I lived in a car. I have gone through domestic violence. I have done a whole life of living. And every one of those moments has led us to create Spark in the Dark and then HelpLink with the goal that everybody is worthy of help. You, me, the guy down the street, right? And so our software platform essentially allows companies to give to their employees to remove barriers to work for their staff before it's too late, before they sleep in a car, before they end up in a domestic violence situation, right? But we also allow communities like each one of us to also give to those needs, to donate $5 or $10. We do it all anonymously. We do it through a software platform. And I have to tell you, I've been on this fight every day for the last 10 years, and it is our absolute honor to come out of Traverse City. It's our absolute honor to serve each and every one of you. We continue to grow nationally, but we get to point back to this community really specifically as what it looks like to truly, come together and to show what it looks like to care about your neighbor, even if you do not know them. So thank you so much for the honor. You'll see us in another 10 years, and another 20 years, and another 50 years. We're not going anywhere, so only just begun.
Thank you.
Next, we'd like to recognize the Neurodiversity Support Center at Northwestern Michigan College. Michael Anderson will be speaking on their behalf.
Good evening. Thanks to the TC Human Rights Commission, the City Commission of Traverse City, and the leaders and citizens gathered here today to celebrate the achievements of local humanitarians. My name is Michael Anderson. I'm the academic chair of the Communications Department at NMC, and it's an honor to accept this award on behalf of my longtime colleague, Nancy Gray, who passed away suddenly in January. Nancy's partner, Chuck, and child Basil are here tonight to help us celebrate her work. Several of her close friends are also here this evening to honor Nancy and the humanitarian spirit that she brought to her work. 3 years ago, when Nancy returned from a sabbatical, she and I began planning for what became NMC's Neurodiversity Support Center. It's the first of its kind at a community college in Michigan to give neurodiverse people the support some need to succeed in college classes and life during that sometimes awkward transition between high school and college. We weren't sure that the college would support this effort, but to quote one of Nancy's favorite sayings, well, we're going to ask. What's the harm in asking? I always ask. End quote. Nancy could be very convincing and make your belly hurt from laughter as she was convincing you. I miss her a lot. But it didn't take much to get a commitment from Vice President Steven Siciliano and Todd Neubauer and President Nick Nisley. They too saw that starting the center was something that the college needed to do. It was the right thing to do. In the past, neurodiverse people have been known by a number of labels, many of them derogatory. And when they came to college, they were grouped together, if at all, with people needing disability support services. As I say that, I must acknowledge two things. The fine work that NMC's Office of Disability Support Services does for our students, and the fact that many neurodiverse learners do need traditional disability accommodations. Yet Nancy saw what was missing. A place on campus for neurodiverse people to go to shut out the noise and reset. Nancy saw that they need wraparound support specific to the neurodiverse. Most importantly, Nancy saw that they also need belongingness. They need connectedness to the college and to each other so that their unique subjectivities could bloom and among friends. Nancy brought her signature patience, humor, and expertise to supporting neurodiverse people. Tireless and adept, Nancy the humanitarian led by holding weekly seminars and training the supplemental employees and student workers, some of whom are here tonight, thank you, who provide the frontline support at the center. Always willing to take a meeting or work through a difficult student situation, Nancy also provided training and support to instructors, and she did all of this while continuing to teach developmental English. Nancy was one of those people who, just by being around them, you want to learn and grow. You want to be better. I can say that having Nancy as a colleague and working with her so closely made me a better educator. Today, the Neurodiversity Support Center has a new director, Taylor Nash. Where are you, Taylor? There he is. And new and returning staffers and renewed support from the college. It will go on, and it's a great example of NMC enacting its core values and mission. I want to close with another of Nancy's favorite sayings. We celebrate neurodiversity. We celebrate neurodiversity. Through her vision and her dedication, Nancy forever changed education at NMC, humanizing it so that neurodiverse people would be not just tolerated, but celebrated. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
And finally, I'd like to recognize Marcelo Betty as the recipient of the Sarah Hardy Humanitarian Award.
Hi. I have written remarks too. Okay, and I promise I won't take more than 5 minutes because I know you guys have a busy agenda. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying that I'm very thankful for the recognition. I am an immigration lawyer. Interesting job to have these days. And I work for a nonprofit organization, Immigration Law and Justice Michigan. And we offer immigration legal services to low-income individuals specifically. And we're the only organization of this kind that has an office in Traverse City. And it's an interesting time to do this work. And I have been very fortunate to have a job that helps others. That was actually the main reason I went to law school. I don't know whether I would say that's a good enough reason to go to law school. There's a lot of young folks here, and like, I don't know, but I'm glad I did it. You know, and life being what it is, you make certain decisions, and then you try to make the best out of them. So I've been practicing immigration law since the end of the Obama administration, which means I have about 75 years of experience, approximately. So it feels that way. And the immigration system, it's very complicated, in part because the rules change a lot all the time, every time you get a new administration. And the system is also very unfair. Obviously I'm not going to take the time to do a history lesson here, but if you look into the history of our immigration system, you will see that a lot of it is built upon racial and class discrimination. And anyone dealing with this system, including immigration attorneys, often feels powerless. In fact, part of what makes it difficult, to stand here and receive this award is because I know that when a new client comes into my office, there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to fix their problem just because of the way that the laws are written. I can tell them what their rights are, but I can't change the law, right? So those are the times that make you wonder, whether your work makes any difference. So I wanted to thank, the commission and the city as a whole for forcing me and our organization to, take the time to pause and reflect on the work that we've been doing. We cannot make anyone's life easy, but when you help fix someone's immigration status, you are helping them have greater opportunity, right, to thrive in the country that they call home, which is this country. So thanks for reaffirming that our work is valuable to the community. Okay, now I got to tell you a client story. Okay, so one of the first cases that I worked on when I started my nonprofit career was helping a woman. I'm going to give her a made-up name, Dahlia. And at this point, this was fall 2015, she had been living in the United States without any papers for more than 10 years. And like so many women, she was a victim of domestic violence perpetrated by her husband at the time. And for many years, she was a victim in silence. She was afraid of calling the police and reporting the crime because since she didn't have papers, she thought, if the police come, they're going to arrest me and deport me. But eventually she had enough, and she had the courage to call for help. So she reported the crime and talked to the police. And then after her husband was arrested and deported, Dahlia became a single mother with a young U.S. citizen son born here. And one of the big misconceptions, many people don't realize that having a U.S. citizen child is not a free ticket for you to stay in the United States. Okay, and there are two legal reasons for that. So the first one is a U.S. citizen child cannot really help their parent immigrate until that child is 21 years old. Okay, so most people don't plan that far ahead. And then the second and more important reason is because Dahlia had entered the country without authorization, even when her son turns 21 and petitions for her, she would not be allowed to actually apply for a green card and fix her status here because she had entered without authorization. Instead, she would have to leave the country, wait for 10 years abroad, and then come back. So she was in a real pickle, okay, to put it mildly. So fortunately for Dahlia, our immigration laws, they're very flawed, but they do have one provision that was helpful to her. It's a section of law that says that even if you are undocumented, if you are the victim of certain crimes, including domestic violence, and then you help law enforcement investigate and prosecute that crime, you can apply for the U visa. Okay, so the U visa is valid for 4 years, but after 3 years that you have it, you can apply for a green card. But there's a catch, and the catch is that the government can only issue 10,000 of those visas per year, pretty small amount when you look at how many victims there are. So there's a huge backlog to get the visa in the first place. So that's what I helped Dahlia with back in the fall of 2015. We completed a pile of paperwork. We filed her petition back then, and then we waited for many years. During those years, her mother passed away in Mexico, and Dahlia could not go visit her or attend her funeral because if she left the U.S., she couldn't come back. And she had a kid here who she had to take care of. And then because of this backlog, her U visa petition was not approved until 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. And then we had to wait another 3 years before we could apply for her green card, for lawful permanent resident status. And then we applied, and then we waited some more, and finally this spring, almost 11 years later, she finally received her green card on her birthday, of all days. And I actually didn't have the heart to give her the card myself. I had to ask my legal assistant to do it because it was, just such a long journey. So I stayed on my side of the office, and even though I couldn't see or hear what was happening, I could just feel, like the emotion and the energy coming from the other room, which really confirms that I made the right choice not to give her the card in person, because then I would have just melted, right? So now that she has a green card, Dahlia can live and work in the United States indefinitely. And because she's authorized to work, she's no longer stuck working for an employer who mistreated her in a job that Dahlia felt that she couldn't quit because she may not have been able to find someone else who would have hired her under the table. And then in another 5 years, she can apply to become a U.S. citizen. And then in the meantime, she can travel abroad and visit relatives who she hasn't seen in decades, and also to visit her mom's resting place. So I wanted to share her story to give you an idea of how long and how difficult the journey is for some people to fix their immigration status. And mostly I wanted to share her story because I don't think that this type of award is meant to celebrate only the people who are receiving it. I think the award should and hopefully does celebrate members of our community who may not be as visible, but who have lives that are just as meaningful. So thank you.
Thank you, Marcelo.
And thank you to the city of Traverse City and all of you commissioners for taking time to honor humanitarian efforts in the community and individuals that are doing good work like you are. So,
Thank you. And that goes also to our Human Rights
Yes.
Commission, so thank you all. Thank you. All right, I'm going to give everybody a moment because some of you were just here for this, so please feel free. If you want to stay for the budget, again, you're more than welcome to, but I'm guessing many of you won't. If anybody's been waiting in the hall, you can come in. There's some open seats now, so please feel free to come fill in. Get a little bit of our salmon flow here. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch. Okay, and one more thing before we start our consent calendar. I was honored today to be invited to speak to the Optimist Club luncheon honoring fifth graders from around the TCAPS, actually Grand Traverse County, because it's not just TCAPS, that were winners nominated by their classmates and their teachers for being optimists, which meant being caring and positive leadership, showing caring and positive leadership. So not just being leaders and not just winning awards or being really great at their sport, but also helping their fellow students. And all this was mostly student generated, so this is by their own peers. So I will now read the proclamation declaring May 18th, 2026 as Youth Appreciation Day. Whereas the city of Traverse City Optimist Club has designated May 18th, 2026 as Youth Appreciation Day, sorry, and the future of our community, nation, and world rests in the hands of our youth, whose energy, creativity, and determination continue to inspire positive change. And whereas young people embody the promise of a brighter tomorrow through their ambition, passion, and commitment to learning, growth, and innovation. And whereas Youth Appreciation Day provides an opportunity to honor and recognize the vital contributions of our youth to our society and to encourage them to pursue their dreams, express their talents, and engage in activities that foster personal development and the well-being of others. And whereas the importance of supporting, empowering, and nurturing the potential of young individuals cannot be overstated, as they are the leaders, creators, and the change makers of today and tomorrow. Whereas communities across the country are encouraged to celebrate the accomplishments, aspirations, and potential of all young people, while also providing them with resources, opportunities, and guidance necessary for their continued success and growth. Resolved that I, Amy Shamrow, Mayor of Traverse City, do hereby proclaim Monday, May 18th, 2026 as Youth Appreciation Day in recognition of the invaluable contributions of young people and their vital role in shaping the future. I, along with the Optimist Club of Traverse City, call upon all citizens to join together in celebrating the spirit of youth and continue supporting their growth, development, and achievement. And I think that's very appropriate after our presentation we just had, and all of the young people who are in here waiting to get your signatures at the end of the semester. I see you and I hear you, but I just think that this is a really important message for us to carry forward too. All of you are future leaders. Believe me, when I was in high school, I didn't think I'd be sitting up here as mayor of Traverse City. Not that that has to be your ambition, but you never know where the road's going to take you. So I hope all of you continue to be supported and continue to engage, even if it is because you're forced to sit at a meeting. Maybe something will spark some interest for you. So with that, I will go back to our regularly scheduled events and have Sarah take the consent calendar, please.
All right. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for individual consideration by the commission. And such requests will be automatically respected. If an item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. 1, consideration of approving the minutes of May 4th, 2026 and May 11th, 2026 meetings of the City Commission, with a note that a motion in the May 6th minutes has been, a word lease has been changed to management agreement within the motion in connection with the Con Foster building. And the minutes on the website reflect that change. 2, consideration of authorizing a purchase order for patrol rifles and suppressors, and consideration of declaring patrol rifles surplus with the balance to be covered by private donation. Approval recommended. 3, consideration of authorizing a purchase order for the purchase of a 2025 Ram 5500 aerial bucket truck for use by Traverse City Light and Power, and consideration of declaring a 2018 Ford F550 aerial bucket truck surplus. Approval recommended. 4, consideration of authorizing a renewal of lease with Chubby Unicorn LLC for its use of city property adjacent to its business for outdoor dining purposes. Approval recommended. 5, consideration of authorizing agreement for event management at Hickory Hills. Approval recommended. 6, consideration of authorizing a 6-month extension of the agreement for restroom cleaning for all city parks, parking services, downtown restrooms, and various city facilities. Approval recommended. 7, consideration of authorizing a contract for parking structure restoration of the Larry C. Hardy and Old Town parking structures. Approval recommended. 8, consideration of authorizing an agreement for the comprehensive water and sewer rate study. Approval recommended. 9, consideration of authorizing an out-of-scope agreement for endpoint detection and response and Microsoft Office software subscription purchases. Approval recommended. 10, consideration of declaring equipment held by police department as surplus so it may be traded in. Approval recommended. 11, consideration of approving the Recreational Authority fiscal year 2026-2027 budgets as required by authority bylaws. Approval recommended. 12, consideration of adopting resolution decertifying local street mileage to amend the Act 51 certified street met, which is a housekeeping matter. Adoption recommended.
Would any commissioner like an item pulled from the consent calendar? Yes, Heather.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Me?
I said yes, Heather. Yeah, sorry.
5.
5. Any other items?
Is that 5? No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm wrong. 3.
3, okay. No problem. So 3, not 5. Any others? Seeing none, go ahead, Ken.
6.
Okay. Any others? Is there any member of the public that would like an item pulled that is not 3 or 6?
You want 3 or 5?
I wanted 3.
3, that's what I
Right?
said.
I thought you said 5.
About the trucks.
Yeah.
Bucket trucks.
Yep. So, okay, bringing it back to the commission, I take a motion.
I move to present, to accept the consent calendar as amended.
Thank you. And we'll give that to Anderson. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We will go to item number 3 and go ahead with that, Heather.
So my question is that we added 3 hybrid bucket trucks to the fleet in '24 and '25. And so I want to know why we're going backwards. We're going back to gasoline here.
Absolutely. Joel Tapio, who's the Director of Fleet Management, is coming up, and I'll ask him to address that question for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Shaw. Joel Tapio. So with this vehicle, there's an accident, and the insurance company declared it a total loss. So the hybrid bucket trucks are like 3 years out, and there's an immediate operational need for Traverse City Light and Power, and this was the only one available within a short notice. We did look into other brands and options, but the Altec brand is really what we want to stick with. And they're 3 years out with the hybrid option, and there's really not anything else out there at this point in time.
And I do just want to say, for what it's worth, that Traverse City Light and Power, Brandy Ekron, has indicated this is a critical piece of equipment for their fleet, for restoration of power that's out, for emergency repairs and those types of things. So for them, it is a critical piece of equipment that was totaled in an accident.
But it's a brand-new truck. It's going to last for a long time with higher emissions. It's going to have outdated technology. Why wouldn't you consider buying anything used?
Yeah, and we did look at used options, and it was kind of eye-opening how much they actually go for. With the hours and miles that were on them, and you're looking at around $100,000 for something that's over halfway worn out already. So, and none of those were the hybrid option. So the hybrids are pretty uncommon, especially in the used market. So, I mean, one thing I was thinking we could discuss during our fleet modernization discussions with Light and Power is the fact that these trucks do hold their value so well, we could maybe declare this one surplus early and get a hybrid one on order.
That would be
And-
really nice.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and like the lease costs we looked at, I mean, you couldn't justify a lease for the difference in cost that would be, so.
And I want you to know I support that approach too, and encourage that when the time is right to, if it makes sense to sell this vehicle, so that when there is a hybrid option that comes available, we can get that and replace it with that.
Well, you know, if you have to order 3 years out, I mean, I hope you're thinking about that soon.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And just a question, because I was on the Layton Power Board for 8 years and been up here for 10 years. I can't recall a time we've had a bucket truck get totaled. And I just say that as like, this isn't something we can just have waiting in the wings either with anticipation, because my understanding is that this doesn't happen very often, right? That our trucks
No,
like this get.
Fortunately, it doesn't, so.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you.
at least it wasn't one of the hybrid bucket trucks.
Right?
There you go, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, very reluctantly, I'm going to accept this. Very reluctantly, you know, we have, if we're serious about reducing our costs and modernizing the fleet, we have to continue down the path of hybridization and eventually electrification.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, speaking to the urgency of the situation, we are at about peak of the spring storm season, so I am glad that it is being addressed pretty quickly. We don't have outages right now, but statewide, I can check the map and see over 86,000 Michiganders are currently out of power, so it is important that we have fleet readiness. Thank you.
Do we have any questions or a motion?
I can make the motion.
Thank you.
I move that Traverse City Light and Power Vehicle 125, a 2018 Ford F-550, be declared as surplus and transferred to the city's insurance carrier to be sold as salvage. That the city manager be authorized to issue a purchase order to Alltech of Indianapolis, Indiana for the 2025 Ram 5500 aerial bucket truck in an amount not to exceed $150,012 with funds available in the garage fund 661.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners Ness and Bomer. Any further discussion on this? Any public comment on this? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And then item number 6, and you had this pulled, Ken?
Yeah, this was in regard to, so on the consent calendar, it generally lists, it specifies that it was for bathrooms, downtown restrooms, and various city facilities. Like, does our Parks Director schedule the maintenance and cleaning of 400 Boardman?
No, that's the 400 Boardman is owned, majority of it is owned by the county, so.
Okay, I was just
Contract
curious
with
what those other,
There's a variety of them. I kind of look up that 2022 or 23 approval. Let's see here, and I know Ms. Hunt is here as well, but I looked at this actually this morning, and it is spaces such as, well, actually, Ms. Hunt, if you could come up. I know
Yeah.
it's Parks Properties, Marina Garage, Hickory Hills, and Oakwood Cemetery, right?
Yes, hi,
Okay.
Michelle Hunt, Director of Parks and Recreation. So it is Oakwood Cemetery, the Marina, Hickory Hills, the Parks bathrooms, the Department of Public Services building, the Water and Sewer Maintenance building, and parking. All of parking. The Hardy Parking Deck, Old Town, and what else, Nicole? The retail space. So it's one large contract for all of our needs.
okay, I was kind of surprised. It said, if it was just like the park bathrooms, it would make sense, but I was just surprised by what other facilities would also mean, because you're a certified arborist too, right?
No, I'm not.
You are not?
No.
Okay. We just had a lot of interest in the parks and the trees in the community, and I just was surprised that you were spending time setting up management contracts for cleaning facilities when people want to walk through Oakwood Cemetery and have deep discussions about the trees there and replacement of the trees and the heights of the replacements, just different, the health of the trees. So That was just my general question. I have no problem with this. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that the bathrooms at the parks weren't clean. So they're obviously doing a good job, so.
That's how they can have the luxury of enjoying the talks and the walks, because we have clean bathrooms that they don't have to worry about.
I guess so.
And just for clarity too, this is a 6-month extension at the exact
Yeah.
same price.
Yep.
Go ahead, Heather.
And you looked at this morning, Ben, because I asked about it too. Because there was no cost associated.
That's right.
Usually it says, you know, at the same price, which is XXX, and there's nothing there.
Mhm.
Well,
Note for lesser.
I can answer that just because I know it came up in the email. So, you know, the Parks Department pays separately than what, like Hickory gets charged, the parking gets charged differently than what the marina gets charged. So I could give you a rough monthly total, but it's because every department has different expenses.
Okay.
Because it's vastly, the marina doesn't cost nearly the same as what the parks bathrooms cost.
It's funny, I've never seen this before.
Yeah. Well, this one's been for a few years, so I
Yeah.
think that's why.
I don't remember
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Go-
Yeah, you
that's
have-
why.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
that's why.
before you joined the team here,
before-
or as the
before
city
Heather.
commissioner, I should say.
BH.
All right.
So
Okay,
wait, really quick,
Thank
Jackie.
you very much.
Yep.
Just to confirm, this is going to include the additional daily cleaning services connected with the Hickory Summer Camp, Day Camp program?
That amendment already happened, but this summer, yes, there will be the additional cleaning. Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have another question or a motion? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just, thank you for clarifying that. I just wondered, because we have a facilities manager now, and I just was surprised that you did that, so,
He's very much working in collaboration on this.
awesome.
Do we have a motion?
Sure.
Okay, I move that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute a 1-year term contract with Adventures Up North LLC in the amount not to exceed 25.
Nope.
6.
Oh,
Universal Cleaners.
We're on number
Oh,
6.
gosh. I pulled the wrong one.
I'm ready if you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I make a motion that the mayor and the city clerk be authorized to execute a 6-month agreement extension with Universal Cleaners to commence on November 1st, 2026 for services outlined in the current agreement with rates to remain unchanged, such contract subject to its substance by the city manager and its form by the city attorney.
Support.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, any further discussion at this time? Seeing none, any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now we'll move on to our old business, and we have a public hearing on the drinking water for the state revolving fund. We do have a presentation with this, right?
Yes, just very briefly, we'll have a brief presentation. This, of course, was reviewed in February 2026 to a degree, and we've got Art Krieger, our Director of Municipal Utilities, and I'll turn it over to him. And again, if we can, just try to keep the presentation pace to be about 5 minutes or so. We've got a long meeting with a potentially lengthy closed session, so thank you very much.
That'll be a great goal.
Great.
So, hi, Art Krieger, Director of Utilities with the City of Traverse City. I'm here to just introduce Doug Urquhart from Hubble Roth Clark, our consultant, who has helped us put an updated 5-year project plan together revolving around our drinking water system. Includes the treatment plant as well as improvements to our distribution pipe network. And I'm going to turn it over to Doug now, and he's going to provide this presentation to show you what's in the plan, the nuts and bolts part of it.
Okay, I'm going to start my stopwatch.
All right.
Okay, so this is the presentation regarding the 2026 project plan for the DWSRF program. So this presentation presents the draft project plan, which was made available to the city a couple weeks ago. The loan program, it provides low-interest loans to eligible facilities for drinking water projects, so it's administered through the Eagle Water Infrastructure Division, and to qualify, the city must prepare and submit a project plan, provide a public hearing, and then pass a commission resolution adopting the plan. Excuse me, but the past project from 22, from the last project plan, the current galvanized service line replacement project was funded, and it did provide the city opportunity for a $1.5 million grant. So history of the city system, the original water supply was actually constructed in 1881, transferred over to the city in the early 1900s, and then was relocated to East Bay in 1965, where it is now. It's a 20 million gallon per day water treatment plant. Direct filtration, which means there's no settling, it's less solids. It's very high quality water source. The city services three customer communities in addition to the city, so Garfield and portions of Elmwood and Peninsula Township. So the projects included in this plan are there's 10 within the distribution system and then 8 at the water treatment plant. And these, even though it shows that there are many, the main goal is to improve transmission from the east side to the west side. Currently, it's pumped from the water treatment plant, and then so what these projects would do, it would increase the ability to pump over to Wayne Hill in the western portions of Garfield Township. So the projects at the water treatment plant are primarily electrical, pump station, pump replacements, sodium hypochlorite, and then other electrical improvements. And then one project at the low service pump station. So overall needs are to address aging infrastructure, water quality improvements, and then improve efficiency, both treatment and electrical. So Eagle does require us to consider the no action alternative. It's not considered favorable, because it would result in continued degradation of the existing facilities and more costly intervention in the future. And then the second is regionalization. Much of the city system is already regionalized, so these projects kind of continue that regionalization of the city's water supply within the township water systems. So these are the projects included in the packet at the water treatment plant, the pump replacements, electrical improvements, and projects to improve reliability of treatment. Within the distribution system, the service line replacement, as you may be aware, is the lead service line, or to help the city maintain compliance with the lead and copper rule, which means replacement of galvanized service lines, as well as the water main construction that I talked about earlier. So the overall cost of these projects is $24 million, broken up here in this table. And then that impact, at using a conservative estimate of 3% loan, is roughly $9.33 per residential connection per month. Now, just want to remind everybody that this is not a rate increase. It's actual impact of these projects. Many of these projects are already incorporated into the capital improvements plan, but it is a required metric from the state when they evaluate projects. So impacts of the project plan, many are positive, improving the ability to provide clean drinking water and public health protection. However, short-term impacts of those associated with construction. I'll go to this slide. So mitigation of impacts are compliance with all permits, filing regulations, environmental regulations, and then notification of residents when construction is occurring in their neighborhood. The city's really good about providing a space for that. So this schedule shows that we're on track to submit the project plan by the required date of June 1, and then drinking water projects would occur between 27 and 29, the distribution system, and then treatment projects from 27 through 31.
Nice job.
458.
All right.
All right.
All right. I'll leave it up for any questions, and that concludes my presentation.
And so we can ask questions, and we do have a public hearing before we make our motion, just for our process part here. Go ahead, Heather.
I just have one question. Back on the page that it said, you have to look at the alternatives. It mentioned regionalization. Is that, and that, is the loan program recommending that we continue to regionalize, and does that give it an advantage?
It does give an advantage. That is, the state acknowledges that there's the second highest number of community water supplies in the country as a state. So it encourages regionalization of systems. So that's primarily for smaller systems. For the city, it's already regionalized, and then continued regionalization, it just needs to be considered. But continued regionalization, like for instance East Bay, they're serviced by wells, they have iron removal, it's a different water system, and it really doesn't match. So we we acknowledge that regionalization has already occurred between the city and the townships, and that these projects support that.
And we intend to, of course, continue that. That's part of the water rate study, too, as we
Okay.
look at renegotiating that 30-year bulk water services agreement.
That's interesting. Does that conversation take place at like Public Works, or where does
That will
happen?
be negotiated by me and your new city attorney.
Okay, all right. Well, interesting. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Other questions? Go ahead, Ken.
Do we know how many of these galvanized or lead goosenecks are still in our city?
I can help you answer, or I can help answer that. We started out estimating around 1,000, and as we go through our information closely, we're paring that down to about 750 is our estimated amount now. And at this point, we replaced over 500 of them, so we're looking to hopefully wrap that up in the next year to 2 years with about 170 remaining. And we have a contract right now with Elmer's that we've been working on. I think we're into year 4 now. And we're hoping to get the remainder done, but we are a little bit underfunded. So we've been applying for the earmark funds. Benjamin's been meeting with Senator and so forth. And we did get moved to the next step of that process to hopefully, the request was around $600,000 for, and we feel that, these are about $10,000 a piece average, so we're about 50 short, but we need a little extra room too for inflationary and engineering field work, things like that, so.
Other questions? Oh, go ahead, Ken. You still have the floor, and then Jackie.
So, is this an application? Are we automatically enrolled in this so that we can get these low-interest loans, or is this a competitive process?
It is a very competitive process.
Okay.
This project plan gives us the ability to enter into that contest, if you will, for the money at the state level.
Gotcha. And what fiscal year do we have to do do we have to do all the projects in the same fiscal year?
Not at all. We actually don't have to do any of them, but we put in, if they're not included in the plan, we really can't do them if we.
You can't get the interest rates on the loans for the project.
Correct.
if they're
So
not in
like,
it.
we
Okay.
put everything we think is doable, but we're not committing to any or all. It's what we can work through the process and get, we'll apply each year by fall. And we apply in the spring, but we'll know by fall.
Gotcha, because there was a very small list of projects on there. Like, there were W1 through such and such, and then there were Ds, and some of the Ds were really interesting, the D7, D8, D10,
Yeah.
particularly around 7th Street. And I just
Yes.
wondered, because I know those are coming up in our plan to redo those streets, and when we redo that street, that was one of the things that I really hope that we focus on, and it aligns with our strategic priorities as we do the underneath when we're doing the top. And all that
Absolutely.
stuff's happening together.
Correct.
Like,
So
wisely
yes,
spending money.
The W's stand for the water plant related projects, and then the D's are the distribution systems.
That's,
So
I assume that was it.
various segments are plan that we did about 5 years ago. What is the name of that plan, Doug?
Reliability study?
Yeah, our water system reliability study had recommendations in there for an additional transmission main across town, and so those D projects, D as in distribution, are different segments of that, and we've already gotten some of that done, like on 8th Street. We have that 24-inch main in there, and we're down to like Lake Street and Cass area now, and we're trying to get that all the way to the west side and up to Wayne Street. I think it's Spruce that we're trying to go up.
Yeah,
eventually.
and that was another little question, or little thing that I noticed, is that we're kind of redoing 7th Street right now, and it looks like we might open it back up to put this new water line in there, which I don't love, but I know things don't always line up, and
We're making our best effort to not do it twice, so
I know.
that's the goal. There might be just a surface project to make it smooth again. That's in the works, I believe, through our mobility division department.
You're easy to forgive, Art, so it's okay.
Thanks.
That's all I got.
Jackie?
I was going to offer to make the recommended motion. if
Well,
this
we
is
have to do the public
timely.
hearing first, sorry. And then I'm right to you, though. Thank you. You've volunteered now. Okay, so right now, I'll take a moment, and I will go ahead and open up our have to remember what it's called here.
Public
Well, I meant what the title of it is. The public hearing for the project plan for drinking water improvements. So that is now officially open. Sarah, if you want to do the rules, or do we just do it? If anybody'd like to speak on it, please approach the podium. This will be on a matter of the public record then, if anybody has any thoughts. As I suspected, seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. And now, Jackie, please, thank you.
Thank you. I move that the resolution authorizing the submission of the application to the State Revolving Loan Fund, adopting an updated project plan, and authorizing project representative be adopted.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Anderson and Commissioner Bomer. Any further questions or comments now? Great, you did a great job, Art.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, any public comment on this item? Kind of had the chance, but, okay. Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have another public hearing. Good times. And this one, do we
Yes.
have a presentation or just go?
I just have a few things to
Okay, go
say.
right, please.
Great, thank you. So we're at the point in time where this is the soonest date under our city charter that the city commission can approve the budget. I shared last week that it is a tremendous honor for me to present the first budget that I presented as city manager. The 2026-2027 fiscal year budget across all funds is approximately $126 million, and I am proud to say that approximately $42 million of that is linked to our community-driven strategic action plan. 42 million of approximately 126 million. I do want to acknowledge that distinguishing between strategic investments and core services is not black and white. So there's some overlap there for sure. But absolutely, the city is moving intentionally to implement that strategic plan that was community-driven. I want to thank Mayor Shamro for her support as the longest-serving member of the City Commission and the mayor, and me being extremely candid with the City Commission, and all of the commissioners for endorsing and supporting and creating an environment for candid conversations. I did share last week, and Mayor Pro Tem Ness sort of referred to this as a transitional budget. This September, we will be convening an ad hoc committee of the City Commission, the City Treasurer Heidi Sheppy and myself, to review the City Commission's fund balance policy, to take a look at what is included in the projections associated with that fund balance, and to look at other ongoing cost pressures, significant upcoming cost pressures that will require us to take a systemic and transformational look at how we deliver services and budget. And so I appreciate the support. I am optimistic about Traverse City's future, and I wholeheartedly recommend approval of the budget. And of course, the City Commission always has a prerogative to pass budget amendments throughout the fiscal year. So while if you approve this tonight, it can be revisited at a future date, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
You have any questions? I know that everybody was really good about bonus time, so go ahead, Jackie.
I first wanted to express my gratitude for the approach that's been taken, all of the work from departments through our city manager, city treasurer, and her team. I'm dazzled by the progress that's been made, and grateful for the help in answering additional questions that were raised since last meeting. I did have two very brief questions for the DDA based on some additional information that was provided. Is this the right time for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know Lauren
Great.
Bohack, the Deputy
Yeah.
Director, and Harry Burkholder, the Executive Director of the DDA, are here. So
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, hopefully these won't be tough. The first one was in terms of the consolidated fund estimates for upcoming years, which I really think that the looking a couple years out is a good discipline for us all. I noticed that the combined revenues were anticipated to decline in 27, 28, and 28, 29. So, you know, for this upcoming budget year, the DDA total fund revenues were 8.5 million. By 28 and 29, it was down to 3.9, and I just thought some commentary, explanation on that would be helpful.
I think there,
Here comes
Ms.
Lauren.
Bohack is approaching the podium.
Hi. So the way that it is represented in the consolidation of all of the budgets for the next 3 years
is representing the potential expiration of TIF 97. So that is representing, you'll see if you see all 3 of the years together on the TIF 97 budget, you'll see it's zeros across the board. So right now we're planning for, as most departments do, the potential worst case scenario of not having that fund source at all. So you'll see a significant dip in the revenue if planning for TIF 97 to expire with no TIF extension.
Thank you. That was my suspicion, but it's good to be confirmed. And then second, really quick question. I noticed there's a source of revenue that continues, you know, for the upcoming year and 2 further years out. It's a small line item. It's $75,000 a year called charges for services. Is that what the Downtown Traverse City Association pays to the DDA for executing their events and planning?
Yep, that's exactly right. That's the fee that the DTCA pays to the DDA for their services.
Great, thank you.
Great. Other questions? Okay, thank you for that. Okay, then what I'm going to do right now is we have now another public hearing on the budget. So because when the budget, as we are going through this and the motions are made, we do not open for public comment. That's how the rules go for that one. So if you have any comments you'd like to make on the budget when I open the public hearing, this is your chance. So with that, I'm going to open the public hearing for the 2026-2027 budget. Is there anyone who'd like to make any public comment on this? Thank you.
Please state your name and address. Indicate if you're a city or non-city resident and or business owner. We have a 3-minute time allotment per speaker.
Fred Bimber, 1223 Randolph Street, city resident. I'm going to comment at this point, though my comment is primarily directed toward the resolution that has been proposed to approve the budget and also the city tax rate. What I think needs to be understood, but what is glossed over in the proposed resolution, is that the city is proposing to tax all taxpayers in the city a little bit over 11.5 mils. And that is for the stated purpose of raising $16.5 million for the general fund. But with our tax base, if there was nothing interfering, we could raise $16.5 million with 9.5 mils. The difference is due to the fact primarily of all the TIF programs that the city has accumulated. TIF 97 all by itself increases the need for taxes by 1.2 mils, and that's assessed not just in the TIF district, but all throughout the city. We have about $2 million per year diverted just from the city operating millage by TIF 97. We have nearly $500,000 diverted from the city's operating millage by Old Town TIF. We have another $900,000 diverted each year by the brownfield TIFs that the city has accumulated. And they explain the difference between the $16.5 million that the city has budgeted this year as what it needs for property tax revenue for the general fund, and the $20.1 million that 15.5 plus mils will actually generate by way of tax revenue on our tax base. So let's just keep that in mind as we do this. I also had heard that at least one commissioner was concerned with the fact that this proposed budget depletes the general fund by $1.5 million, and that's something we need to take a good hard look at before we continue down this road. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Is there any other public comment for the public hearing on the budget? As Larry makes his way up, if other people want to, you can also start lining up as well if there's more.
I'm Larry Gershbacher, 925 Kelly Street, Traverse City resident for 54 years. I'm a little bit concerned about the Traverse City Light and Power report that they lost $150,000 by accepting credit cards for payment of the utility bill. And I see the budget on here is over $52 million, and I don't know whether that includes their reported loss as a result of people using credit cards or not. But if it is, I think Traverse City Light and Power has to take a look at their process. And if a loss is incurred by people using credit cards, the people using those cards ought to absorb the penalty. In other words, if it's 3.5% to 5% that people are, by using their credit cards, Traverse City Light and Power is losing 3.5% to 5%, then there ought to be some note on the electrical bill that this is the amount you pay. If you have a credit card payment, this is the amount that you're going to pay, and add that additional amount for the service of using that credit card to the customer. Or put a note on the bill, we no longer accept credit cards for payment for your utility bill. Because I'm not going to be responsible for somebody using a credit card that's going to earn money in points from their credit card company for using the card to pay their electric bill and then wind up Traverse City Light and Power taking a penalty of what was reported, I think, $150,000. So if this amount includes the loss or the amount that would normally be subtracted, I guess you could say, from the payment, then when I get my electric bill, I'm going to take the 3.5% or 5% right off of the amount, subtract it from that, and pay the electric bill based on the amount that it should be, less the penalty that I'm paying for the credit card companies, or the credit card users, I'm sorry. So that's not right. There should not be a penalty to those of us that pay by cash, check, or direct withdrawal from our accounts to cover the cost of loss because of the credit card use. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Is there any other public comment on the budget at this time? Give a long pause. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing for the 2026-2027 city budget. And I know you wanted to make a couple comments.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to respectfully comment in response to Mr. Bimber's comment that stating that the millage rate could be reduced by approximately a couple mills if we didn't have TIF. That is entirely contingent on priorities. So if the city commission ultimately, or the voters, if they were to approve a new TIF plan, decided that certain capital improvements, things that are funded through TIF, needed to be done, that money would have to come from somewhere. So to suggest that without TIF, automatically the city could reduce its millage rate by 2 mills is not a complete picture, and I say that respectfully, and it's my obligation to point that out. And if any member of the commission has any clarifying questions for me in that regard, I'd be happy to answer them, and I also lean on Ms. Sheppy to assist with those too. Just wanted to make that point.
Well, seeing none, then we thank you everyone for your public comment. That was the public hearing. We will now go on to our next item, which is the actual budget and the motions. So I don't know, we don't usually tee it up, right? We just start.
Those could all be passed as one big motion if the commission's prepared. If there's not, if there's any member of the commission that may wish to vote against any of the resolutions in here, then they should be made individually. I guess that's a question to the commissioners, if you are prepared to support all of the resolutions that are listed on the agenda, and if you're not, then those could be taken up individually.
Even though it says need to be adopted separately.
They can be adopted as one, if it's unanimous.
If anybody wants to, I would think would the motion be something like that we move that we accept the
I can read it.
Oh, there we go.
That the resolution waiving 1/2 of Traverse City property tax administration fee for fiscal year 2026-2027 be adopted, and that the resolution certifying tax levy for Act 345 Police and Fire Pension System for fiscal year 2026-2027 be adopted, and that the resolution certifying tax levy for fire department and emergency transportation services for fiscal year 2026-2027 be adopted, and that the resolution certifying tax levy for the city of Traverse City for fiscal year 2027 be adopted, and that the resolution adopting the City of Traverse City fiscal year 2026-2027 capital improvements plan and capital projects fund be adopted, and that the resolution adopting the City of Traverse City fiscal year 2026-2027 comprehensive annual budget report be adopted, and that the resolution adopting the Traverse City Light and Power budget for fiscal year 2026-2027, including the capital improvement plan, be adopted, and that the resolution certifying tax levy for Downtown Development Authority for fiscal year 2026-2027 be adopted, and that the resolution adopting the Downtown Development Authority budget for fiscal year 2026-2027 be adopted, and that the resolution to establish the city manager's per transaction spending authority pursuant to Section 40 of the city charter be adopted, and finally, that the resolution establishing water rates, water service charges, and sewer rates be adopted.
That sounds like a great motion that I just made.
That's great. Great job, Mitch.
Second.
You're welcome.
And great second on that, Lance. Okay, so with that, we have one full motion for that. I was trying to think of a succinct one as the editor and me, but we itemized each one. Well done, Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motions pass. Motion made into motions. Pass. So thank you all. We now have our 2026-27 budget. Again, this can be modified and this can be updated throughout the year as we work on other projects, but we're well on our way now. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And now we'll hand it over to you again, Benjamin, for the Carnegie Building update, please. And
Yes, at the April 2nd City Commission meeting, the commission directed me to bring back at tonight's meeting a status update on discussions with Crooked Tree Arts Center and Traverse Area District Library on the possibility of co-locating at the Carnegie Building. And we have had two facilitated discussions, one as recently as last Monday, and it's clear to me that at the June 1st commission meeting, I should have a substantive update to the City Commission. I don't anticipate at that meeting that there would be any agreements to authorize. It will be an update and then getting direction from the City Commission. So I just wanted to return as directed to you with that update, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the gist of it.
good with all? And we'll know we'll have a more comprehensive update on June 1. Mitch?
Yes, I know that the last time we discussed this, it was a very lengthy discussion. We did have a lot of public comment. I am looking forward to having a little more discussion as we go through the process, because I think that there still can be more discussion that we can have that can inform the process about direction we want to take, more information that is still needed, and opportunities that may be available.
Absolutely. I'll take the direction from the commission. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
But in the meantime, we do thank you and Michelle Howard and Christy for doing the work of coming together and working on that and finding out what works for everybody rather than us just dictating from up here. So that will be part of the conversation, but I appreciate that you all are engaging very earnestly on this as we move forward. So with that, we will now move on to item number 5, and thank you to Commissioners Anderson, Bomer, and Shaw for continuing your work with this for the resolution. And I don't know if anybody wanted to give a quick update or just make a
I have
motion.
something to say.
Go ahead, Heather, please.
Yeah, the question of this governance on the NRAA board came up over the last year. It's been about a year, right? When we, Jackie and I and many other people, including almost the entire Triangle neighborhood, attended meetings at the airport to talk about their zoning overlay. And we chipped away at it and chipped away at it, and I believe that we're now at a point where it conforms both to FAA requirements and it meets the needs of neighborhoods and city staff. That was another problem. So, but a few months ago, we were in a pretty tense place, and relationships were definitely falling apart because of confusing threshold numbers and unclear tree impacts and very broad unchecked discretion. But today we have explicit tree exemptions, removal of the arbitrary height numbers, acknowledgement of local coordination, so nice, more reasonable variance language, and a much clearer public record. I think we preserved enough trust through this process to move us into the next phase, which will be Oakwood Cemetery And also keeping an eye on how enforcement discretion is actually used. Plus, what you see before you, which is governance and representation. And I'm really hoping that we have unanimous board support for this resolution, although I do think Judy Nelson has point.
I've updated it. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
That was-
Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah. So when the three of us worked together to write this resolution, I'm not going to read the whole thing aloud to everybody unless I have to. But, you know, in 1988, we gave up our seat at the table, per se, to be on the airport authority, or what was just the airport back then. And yeah, it represents more than 19% of our city land. And so this is an ask to the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners and the Leelanau County Board of Commissioners that they redesignate 2 seats. It fits the legal framework. Lauren has looked this over and made sure that everything fits. Originally, I think last meeting we talked about it, I had suggested raising that to 11. Well, turns out that takes a whole statute change at the state level, and we all know how those work, right? They don't work very fast. So I'm going to make a motion.
But Lance, do we need to, oh, you're going to.
As amended.
I'm going to amend the motion. Yep. Yeah. So I made a small clerical error when writing the motion that you see in front of you. So I'm just going to add the language of after County Board of Commissioners and/or Leelanau County Board of Commissioners.
Right.
So we're adding. So both boards are looking at this. So motion is I move that the resolution requesting that the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners and/or the Leelanau County Board of Commissioners redesignate 2 existing seats on the Northwest Regional Airport Authority Board to provide formal representation for the city of Traverse City be adopted.
Second.
All right.
You could
I'm
put
gonna-
all of us down.
I was going to say, I'll put Shaw only because I gave Anderson one earlier, so, but thank you for your enthusiasm, Commissioner Anderson. All right, any discussion on this item? Go ahead, Mitch.
Yes, I appreciate in the motion incorporating Judy Nelson's, I think, very salient point, and the fact that Traverse City does cover both Grand Traverse and Leelanau counties, although it's mostly in Grand Traverse County by population. But then it provides flexibility that not just both counties are party to this discussion, but that it doesn't shoehorn the person or persons from the city of Traverse City to be only in that Grand Traverse County portion.
Exactly.
Great. Any other comments from the commission at this time? I thank all of you for your work on this. It's been hugely important. I'm not going to guess. I'm sure we could go back. I'm not going to go back and look why they gave it up in 1988. I'm glad that we're doing the work now to get back and have our residents' voices on there, so thank you for that. Any public comment on this? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now we're on to our new business, which is the pilot request for 414 East 8th Street. And Ben, do you want to kick that off?
Yes, I'll just state briefly that you have a memo in your packet from the city assessor regarding an application from Nest Community Partners. This is for 16 units, 8 studios, 4 1-bedroom, 3 2-bedroom, and 1 4-bedroom. I think this might be the first pilot that the city commission's seen that would apply to an existing building.
That this commission.
That this commission, excuse me, yeah. And so we do have City Assessor Amy Robbins here to answer any questions that you have, and I know that Kate Redmond, who is representing, or is the applicant, is also here in attendance to answer any questions that the commission may have. And this has gone through the policy adopted by the city commission and the rubric, but ultimately this is a policy decision of the city commission, and the decision is entirely yours. And so with that, I'll stop talking.
Do we have questions first off? Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, it's a couple quick questions. So we've talked about these pilots a lot, and one of the things that gets expressed back to us when we have concerns about these is the city's actual share that we are forfeiting when we accept these pilots. And what is the exact amount per year, and then what will it be over the 35 years?
I'm going to ask Ms. Robbins to
I'm gonna
address
get my
that
calculator
question.
out.
Our city assessor.
Hi there. So under the pilot is.
There was a
this-
16,000 and a 10,000, and I wasn't sure that if that's the
Yeah,
share.
so
and
the, the pilot itself for the 16 units was the 10 or 11,000, just a minute here, gotta find it. Yeah, so the pilot that was requested was $10,774.81. Of that, the city's portion was $2,911 per year.
So that's what we will be forfeiting.
Correct.
That's what, of all the taxes collected, that's the city share that we're forfeiting.
Yes.
Do some longhand here. Okay, calculator, Mitch, what is it?
You can do it.
Okay.
Did you say
Anyway,
2,911?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
that's
Per
what.
year over 35 years?
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
Yep.
So
Thank you.
111,000 over.
Over 35 years.
Over 35 years, Heidi? She says yes. City treasurer says yes.
One of the one of the questions that I had, it was on page 42 of the agenda packet for this item, and it was page 15 of the supplemental information provided by the Nest LLC, I think is what it was. But it said that due to this nonprofit having not completed an entire year of existence, it is not, the financial report or financial statement for them is not available at this time. But it was, they said that in that packet that they would have one by May 15th, and that was last Friday. Does one of those exist at this point? I was just kind of curious.
I do not know. Is Katie here? Yes.
Yes, we could provide that at this point for last year.
Okay. Is the board compensated at all? Because there was a bunch of board members that were all listed in there. Are they compensated board members?
No, it's all volunteer board members.
Great, that's good stuff. Thank
Sure.
you.
The budget, our budget is pretty simple at this point. It's mostly just, I'm the executive director, my salary, and like the cost of Zoom and Google Suites.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to beat you up about this. I appreciate housing. This is a good project, and I believe that most people have good intentions. But there's always the concerns about nonprofits that have large salaries for, benefited employees. And there was no way for us to look at that with this being a brand new one and not having a financial report yet. So that was my
sure.
question.
I'm glad to tell you, my salary is $72,000 a year plus benefits. And we have uncompensated directors. But
Amazing.
we're totally transparent, so any other information you want, we're glad to
I
share.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Mitch had his hand up, and then I see you, Jackie.
Yes, as was just mentioned, introducing this is the first time we've had to deal with a pilot for an existing building this session. In previous pilots that we've dealt with Ruth Park, with Annika Place 1, Annika Place Phase 2, those were all new builds with East Bay Flats. That was a change of the ownership structure and how it was done. In this case, it is not only an existing building, but an existing structure without, as I'm seeing it, a significant change except for how the property is being financially structured and managed. In the other cases, they also are strictly residential properties with no expectation of, aside from individual tenants leaving, any change in ownership or management structure. There has been some, for lack of a better term, churn at Common Grounds with tenants leaving and coming back. What is the certainty of long-term organizational stability over the 35-year lifespan?
So it is a sale to a new organization, the 501c3 Nest Community Partners. I know Kate Redmond, worked on Common Ground, so it's confusing because I now work for Nest Community Partners.
A lot of the names are really the same.
Yes, but Nest is independent. It has a completely independent board of directors from Common Grounds without overlap, and it's completely separate books, just completely separate organization. I am on the board of Common Grounds Cooperative still, but any transactions between the two are reviewed by independent attorneys, and I wouldn't vote on anything for the cooperative, so that they operate independently. And this sale allows us to to make sure that this can stay workforce housing and stay affordable. The cooperative has operated it at a loss of $250,000 a year, so obviously not sustainable. And the sale to Nest can qualify for financing that the cooperative can't qualify for. And also, honestly, back in 2018 and 2019, when I was still working for the cooperative, we knocked on every door trying to get help for the workforce housing, and the tools just weren't available that are available now. So it's also, the 501c3 is able to take advantage of the fact that, thank goodness, we have better tools available now for affordable workforce housing than we did back in 2018. So the 501c3 is able to obtain more affordable financing through the USDA, plus a MSHDA grant, which was not an option previously. And between those two things and the pilot, it allows the workforce housing to actually pay for itself and be sustainable for the long term. And 35 years is the term of the USDA loan, which is great. As you know, it's hard to get a loan with that long of a term, and it really makes a difference in how affordable it is. So it is actually this transfer to the 501c3 and change in structure that makes sure that it's sustainable. Both that the co-op is no longer carrying that loss, and that the housing does now actually fully pay for itself with these changes in structure.
Thank you.
Jackie, you had your hand up?
I just wanted to be sure I was understanding correctly. Does this project and proposal create any net change in the number of affordable housing units?
It doesn't change the number of units, but it does increase the number that we can offer at a lower income rate. So we see, in our community, really below 80% AMI is where the big gap is. Honestly, back in 2018, 2019, there was more of a gap at 100 and 120%. But, the county is right now doing an updated housing needs assessment, and I think we'll see that we have made progress at the 100 and 120% AMI level. And we see that in our wait lists at Common Grounds. Our wait list for our 60% AMI apartments is 100, it's as long as we could advertise and take in applications. It's very different. When you get up to the 120%, you're really at market rate, and we want to be able to meet the community need and offer more of those 60% AMI units and 80% UNI, and this is letting us shift more units into those because of the affordability factor.
Okay, and those are about 16 units, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions at this time? Go ahead, Heather.
I don't have a question.
Oh, good. Yeah, go ahead then.
I don't have a question, I have a statement.
Okay. Can we get do we have a motion
A
yet?
motion? I'm happy to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Great.
Okay, go ahead.
I move that the resolution, make sure I'm reading the right one. Yes, resolution granting tax exemption for the property at 414 East 8th Street as requested by the Nest Community Partners at a rate of 4% and a term of 35 years be adopted.
Support.
All right, thank you, Commissioners Bonner and Treadmill. And then go ahead,
Yeah,
Heather,
I
please.
just want to say I fully support this. I think you found a very neat solution to a problem that I didn't know you were having, but I can see that this is a great solution. It's very affordable. I think that the more working people that we have living downtown, the more that downtown will reflect what the rest of the city looks like, which is a diversity of ages and family structures and wages and jobs and interests. I think that downtowns and small cities like ours become very fragile when they're monocultures. And I sent Ben earlier today, it was kind of towards the end of the day, an article about Petoskey that was in Bridge Magazine recently. Petoskey is in terrible trouble. And there's a nice little picture in the article showing how quaint and friendly the downtown is. It's not. At least it wasn't in October, which is still tourist season. It's empty. It's boarded up. Petoskey is in a terrible situation because they've allowed summer homes and short-term rentals. They've allowed a tourist monoculture to take over. So thank you very much for helping to prevent that.
Yes.
And along those lines, if I may, of course, a key item in your strategic plan is downtown serving as a neighborhood.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, so I just have a few comments regarding pilot programs in general as we discuss this project tonight. First of all, Heidi, I really appreciated on page 38 of our budget documents the very succinct table with the impacts of pilot programs to the city. And I appreciated that because over the last couple of years, I've heard that question come up multiple times from various city commissioners. And I think it's important that we make these decisions grounded in data and not just on assumptions. So thank you for including that. And that report shows that in 2025, the city's share of tax revenue concessions from pilot programs was nearly $500,000 in a year, and more than $6 million cumulatively to date. So two things can be true at once. Pilot programs can be a very important tool in addressing one of the most pressing challenges that we have, and that's housing. But also pilots have fiscal implications on the city. And I appreciate Commissioner Funk's asking the question, and the answer that the cost to the city for this particular project is $2,911 annually and just over $100,000 over 35 years. So that being said, I believe this project demonstrates the type of public benefit that supports our approval, but pilot programs should never become automatic, and every proposal really needs to be judged on its merits. And so I appreciate the proposal, I appreciate the effort, and Commissioner Funk's questions, but I think it's important that we keep our eye on the long-term strategy with respect to pilot programs. Thank you.
I did want to say that during our agenda review, we get myself, the Mayor Pro Tem, and another commissioner, in this case it was Commissioner Anderson, for this meeting together, and part of that conversation was asking that in the not too distant future we get a report from staff on what is the common, or not common, but best practices for percentage of budget and income to pilots to make sure that we keep a balance. That said, and this is a little bit of a rant on Kate's project, but not specifically Kate's project, this is a public service, as was mentioned just now by Mayor Pro Tem Ness. Without it, we could totally get rid of all pilots and not do them ever again. We would have no affordable housing, especially in Traverse City, but in most places face that problem. And so this is where we have to come into that fine balance. So sometimes, a lot of times to make the numbers work, you'll find developers or people using brownfield or MISHDA or other things, plus requesting a pilot, because that's the only way that we can make numbers work so that people, like as Heather aptly pointed out, so we can have young working people in our community, so we can have people who aren't just a monoculture living in our community. So that is a bigger conversation we're going to be having going forward to have that better perspective. But I think that we also have to be cognizant, as was said, of projects like this every time they come to us, assessing them on their merits. But we also have the rubric, and I think it's good that we go over that again soon to show that we don't just let anybody who applies for a pilot come to us and ask for a pilot either. I think that's been a few years since we reviewed that, so I think it would be good if we brought that back for discussion too. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I just want to wrap up. The question that's always asked is that we just have the tough conversations, especially when we talk about these things, because there's this strong feeling that we will say we will give up and do anything for housing, and that can't be what we do. We have to ask the tough questions. So, Kate, you're phenomenal. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
And I need to clarify something
Heidi and Amy,
real
thank
quick.
you. Go ahead.
So when we were talking about the pilot amount of
Yeah.
the 10,700, whatever it is, I said that we were going to get, of the city's portion of that was 2,911. That's not the city's loss. I think that might have been misunderstood. It might have been my mistake.
Is that the 4% we're collecting?
That's of
Okay.
the 4% that we are collecting, correct. So the actual loss is $26,000
Per year.
That
Yeah.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
That does make more sense. Thank you.
Well, and I was thinking about it too, and then she said, yeah. So we just wanted to make sure we clarified.
What's that over 35 years?
911,000.
911,000? Well, it's not 100, but it's 35 years.
It is. It is.
Oh, math's hard sometimes.
Definitely for
Well,
me.
I looked at the wrong page on the
It's
resolution.
okay. It's okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
Sure.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you to everybody for the hard work on that.
Thank you
Okay,
very
now we
much,
have our
everyone.
ordinance amendments here. Ben, do you want to take
Yes,
that?
and I'm sorry, I see that our deputy, or actually acting planning director, Leslie, is not here for these two items, so I will do my best, and we also have the city attorney here. You have an ordinance amendment that's proposed in your packet related to auto-centric uses, so things like car washes, oil change places, car mechanics, those types of things that would require that those types of uses obtain a special land use permit. And so this is a recommendation that you make this change to that process. This motion would introduce the ordinance amendment and schedule it for possible enactment on June 1st. And if you've got any questions, we'll do our best to answer them, or we can always answer them on June 1st if we're not able to tonight.
Okay, Mitch, do you have a question?
Well, just as further explanation as planning commissioner, this was prompted both as one of the recommendations that is in our master plan, that we've been working through what the master plan recommends for adopting as a city, and this is one of the things. But it became especially timely when earlier this year there was permits applied and a site plan submitted for a Tommy's Car Wash at the location currently occupied by Burger King and Cup of Joe at Front and Garfield. That project at the time, and it's currently meets our zoning code, but many on the planning commission, as well as many in the community that we listened to, felt that that wasn't the best use of that site, that wasn't furthering the economic and community future of Traverse City, and this is a tool that we can take to not stop drive-throughs going in places where they might make sense, but to give a little more scrutiny to the process and to make it something that will require more review going forward.
Well said.
Okay. Any other questions or motions?
Question.
Go ahead.
How would this have changed what happened on Front and Garfield? Would there have been a different outcome possible?
I don't know, but the process would have been much different. The standards that are now in the special land use permit section, or would be if this is adopted and enacted, are more or less the same as what is in there now. They're just moved to a different process. So there are a lot of factors that go into that process. And as you know from probably previous special land use permits that the City Commission has dealt with, it depends upon the record and what is presented to the City Commission. And that may have been different or may not have been different than what was presented to the Planning Commission. So I can't say with certainty it would have been different, but it would have been a much different process, different public hearings, things like that. It would have probably highlighted the project more to the community, and it would have been a more rigorous process before this body.
Yeah, and I can speak to that as well. Yes, it would have meant a fee that really is nominal, but it would have increased the cost from that point. But the bigger issue is it increases the time for both the Planning Commission, the City Commission, and the community as a whole to review, to understand the process, and it can avoid a scenario of a developer or a property owner coming in guns blazing when they have a very narrow timeline to make a project work and trying to rush a project through. This means that it would slow things down, and in this case, I can tell you that the property owner was giving the developer a very narrow window of time on their option to act on it, and with a special land use permit requirement, that window would have elapsed.
Any other questions at this time or a motion? Go ahead, Jackie.
I'm happy to make the motion that an amendment to the Traverse City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1342, C2 Neighborhood Center District, Chapter 1344, C3 Community Center District, Chapter 1347 Development Districts, Chapter 1364 Special Land Use Regulations, Section 1366.03 Site Plan Requirements, as recommended by the City Planning Commission, be introduced and scheduled for possible enactment on June 1st, 2026.
Second.
I'll give that to Mitch, and I'll give it to our planning commissioners on that one. Thank you, Jackie. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, and now our next is the Open Space District Amendment. I don't know if you want to kick that off to you, Ben?
Absolutely. Yes, you do have a memo in your packet from Leslie Sichterman, our acting planning director, again, who's not here. But given that the Farmers Market Pavilion is being reconstructed, if you will, the city attorney asked the planning commission to clarify the language in the zoning ordinance and regarding this use and formally add municipal markets as a use allowed by OS. And this change was recommended by the planning commission with Commissioner Anderson opposed. And that's indicated in the memo from Ms. Sichterman.
Great. Go ahead, Heather.
Where is all the information? There's no definition of municipal markets. There's nothing there that shows how they work, you know, that you have to get a permit, that, there's nothing here. How are we supposed to know what we're voting for?
Municipal markets are already defined in the zoning ordinance. I can read that for the commission if you'd like. It's basically a market that is owned or operated by a municipality. So the city would have to either own the market and operate it or give a permit to an operator. In this case, the DDA at Lot B operates the market on behalf of the city. So I thought we covered that pretty extensively at the last meeting. If you have more questions, I can read the definition if you'd like.
We have more questions or a motion?
I can make the motion.
Great.
I move that amendments to the Traverse City Code of Ordinances, Section 1328.01, uses allowed as recommended by the City Planning Commission, be introduced and scheduled for the possible enactment on June 1st, 2026.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Ness and Commissioner Bomer. Any further discussion on this? Go ahead, Jackie.
Just to reiterate my concerns from our prior conversation, I am concerned about unintended consequences on the 28 other OS-zoned city parks that could be impacted by this text amendment. I have shared with the city attorney the input that was received from a legal representative in the community, some concerns about prior legal history of Lot B and its approved uses. So I'm going to be continuing to vote no against it tonight. I haven't received any additional information that was changing my mind. So thank you.
Sorry, can I ask just a little bit of clarification from you, Jackie? Because
Sure.
when we had the discussion about the farmer's market, your question was that, or the discussion that I took from it was, there's confusion as to parkland and park definition, and we were waiting for the OS changes to come forward and become solidified. Now they are here before us. We've already moved forward with the Lot B. This would be that clarification point that we were waiting on, so, but now you're not supporting it. So I just want to clarify a little bit, help me understand where you're coming from.
My concern at the prior vote had to do with going forward with a $3 million construction contract when we had not completely addressed the zoning issues. So, and at that time, the rationale for the confusion surrounding the zoning issue came up as a major point of discussion. So I was hoping for some additional guidance. We understood that the city attorney had given her full endorsement of the proposal for this as a resolution of the zoning issue, and so I am simply not convinced that this is a prudent way of resolving a zoning ambiguity that came up during really the process of moving forward with a major construction project. At the time that it came to the Planning Commission, I was also concerned about possible ramifications and unintended consequences, and I expressed them in that forum. And so I'm continuing to withhold my vote and support for this.
Thank you for your clarification. Lance, Mitch, and then Heather.
I yield.
Okay, Lance or Mitch?
I do not see how this could be in any way construed as an imprudent use of our process to change zoning when it is literally our process to change zoning. We have a text amendment introduced at the Planning Commission. We have a public hearing at the Planning Commission. They vote on it. We have a subsequent meeting when they recommend it to the City Commission or recommend against sending it to the City Commission. In this case, by near unanimous vote, it was recommended to the City Commission. Now it is before the City Commission. We vote on it here for possible inaction next month, and then we'll vote on it again. That is what is outlined in our bylaws. That is what is following state law and all enabling legislation for how zoning gets changed in this community. It's literally the process.
Heather?
This should have been done months ago, even years ago, and I continue to be really disappointed in how the whole thing was handled. However, I did read the packet from the May 5th Planning Commission meeting, which is a good thing because the information was in there, and it certainly isn't here, and I don't find anything wrong with it. It's reasonable, and I will be supporting it, despite being very disappointed with the whole process that went on here.
Thank you for that, Heather. Any other, go ahead, Ken.
Just a quick thought. I'm really frustrated that I echo the comment from Commissioner Shaw in regard to this was missed a while ago, and we spent a lot of time trying to force a transition neighborhood onto Bay Street for no good reason when we could have been looking at other things, and we missed this one and the previous item. So that's just my thought on that.
Okay. Other comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bomer?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Ness?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes?
Commissioner Funk?
Yes.
Commissioner Treadwell?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, motion passes. All right, and with that, we'll go now to this one I'm very excited about. It's our paramedic program, and so go ahead and kick it off, please.
Yes, and we have EMS Administrator Catherine Dunklo with us, and she's going to share with the City Commission a partnership that she helped identify to bring paramedic education to Traverse City, which will help with our recruitment efforts. It will help with public safety in the sense that folks won't have to travel out of community to take this type of training. And this technically could be approved by me, but it's a big win for our community, and I thought it would be good for the City Commission and the public to hear about it. And so, Ms. Dunklo, if you'd take it away.
Yeah, thank you. We are very, very excited at the fire department for this as well. It's been a long time coming, a very long process, labor of love, so to speak. And I did want to highlight that this week is EMS week also, and the theme for today is education. So it's kind of serendipitous that we're here talking about these things. Also, to my right are some of our partners from West Shore Community College. We have Program Director Yost right here, and Dean Masters sitting here, who have been a great help and support throughout this process, as well as you three sitting up there. So thank you very much. Without further ado, here we go. So our current reality is we are hiring licensed EMTs that need to go to paramedic school within 3 years to maintain employment with the City of Traverse City Fire Department. And there was a history of uncertainty for future local available courses, which caused, you know, a little bit of question in our mind of where do we go from here? Do we have to start looking elsewhere in the state to get this education? And that took us down the road of, well, what if we have or like host our own paramedic program here? So we started looking at feasibility for that, and we contacted West Shore Community College to see if they would be interested or able to host a course at Traverse City Fire Department. And we chose them. We compared quite a few programs. We chose them based on past program success, as well as the benefits that come with attending a college, as well as like the resources that a college can provide. So as far as we will be an alternate site, and West Shore is responsible for the overall program, all the administration, accreditation, state approval. They handle all of those things. Clinical contracts, meaning like if our EMTs that are going through the paramedic program need to get clinical hours on like the ambulance or in the emergency department, they have established contracts locally and in the surrounding area for students to obtain those clinical hours that are required for licensure. And I already talked about Dan. The training equipment will be provided by West Shore Community College as well as the faculty. And we set up a training room with AV equipment, and special thanks to our IT team for help with that as well. Here's the classroom. Right now it's in that 520 building, and he set us up with a projector and some cameras and things, and we're looking forward to using this space. It looks a little bit funky right now because MSU Extension is still in there and you know, moving some stuff around, but we're excited.
June 11th.
Okay, all right. Well, we love having them, but we are looking forward to utilizing that classroom, sprucing it up, and making it a really nice space to learn. So course information, the total course fee is $13,249, and that is pretty remarkable because that is much lower. It saves about $5,000 per student. West Shore Community College has graciously offered to give us in-district tuition for this, even though we are out of district, which is very generous, and we're extremely grateful for that. And that course fee includes all the college courses required for paramedic certification, including anatomy and physiology, and all the certifications required to function in our medical control authority as well for when they're done with the program. The total course length is 11 months, and it's a hybrid. So 1 day a week on Fridays, starting August 28th, the students will be in the classroom for 8 hours, and the rest of their learning is done online. And we think that's pretty nice as far as work-life balance goes. So program start, I already got a little ahead of myself, August 28th. Program finish will be end of July 2027. New courses will recur beginning with each fall semester, and we're capped at 12 students for enrollment, although the agreement does allow for up to 16 students. Enrollment is going to be open to all agencies, and we already have some guys that have started the enrollment process, which is really exciting for us. And there are also some grant opportunities for tuition. And we really benefit from this because we will have a guaranteed future paramedic program. We know that it's going to occur. We're not going to question whether or not our guys can get licensed in time for that 3-year, time frame. Work-life balance for students. A lot of the guys have young families, and we really want this to be a good place for them to want to stay as far as like retention goes. There's some cost-saving opportunities, recruitment opportunities for other students that may be attending the program, some professional development for staff. So we have some staff that are looking into becoming faculty for West Shore Community College as well. So that's great professional development for them. And really, it's a great opportunity to benefit EMS, not just for us, but for other agencies in the area too. We have partnerships with our local hospital, Munson Medical Center, and other local EMS agencies, some clinical contracts, and there are also other clinical opportunities throughout the state in the Grand Rapids area too, so that we can get some of those, lower, the calls that we don't see as often, like pediatric calls, like really sick pediatrics. We can go and see those patients so our students can get exposure to that. and we'll become a clinical site as well. So we'll be able to have paramedic students come and ride on our ambulance, which will also give us an opportunity for recruitment so we can show them how great our department really is and the guys there. And that's all I have. So thank you.
Questions, anybody? Go ahead, Jackie.
You mentioned that there's a cap of 12 students to start off. Is there a minimum number of students to be able to get the program kicked off and continuing?
That would be, I believe we spoke about 4, but that would be a college feasibility question.
That's great.
There's
That's
a lot
great.
of interest, and it's not even like, well, now it's fully out there, right? It's fully public, but yeah, lots of interest.
And then my only other question is about the tuition, you know, the in-district tuition benefit, which is wonderful. Are non-Traverse City, for instance, an employee of MMR who might be, you know, employed in Antrim County, are they also eligible for that same in-district tuition, or? is
Yes,
that
it would be
exclusive to-
it would be for that our program in totality. So everyone that would enroll in our program would be eligible for that in-district tuition cost.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Heather.
I'm going to make the motion if that's
Great.
okay. I move that the city commission affirm the educational affiliation agreement with West Shore Community College. And thank you very much for looking over the horizon and solving a local problem of recruitment and training. Brava.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much. And thank you
Commissioner
very
Shaw.
much, West Shore College.
Second.
We need to second the motion.
We just
Okay.
got Lance. I
Second.
got it. I'm following, but I'm all for the praise. No, thank you for bringing this program, and as I'll say out of obligation and as a kudos to this for whether they're MMR or our own guys. You know, if people get tired of hauling people in and out of buses, these are also credits that can count towards programs like nursing and PA that are all available in our region. And so this is also a great stepping stone for a lot of our people in our community to not just have a strong fire department and great paramedics in our region, but also strengthen our working middle class here. So thank you for all of this. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Any other comments really quick? Go ahead.
Discussion? Oh,
Yeah.
just real quick, I'm excited about this program. I know it's been talked about for a long time, and I'm looking forward to it coming. And when we make this large investment in the city personnel, I hope that we are putting the right mechanisms in place to make sure that there's a requirement to pay it back if they leave. So
yeah.
I'm sure those things will get looked into. No comment necessary.
Any other questions or comments? Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so much, Catherine. and
Thank you.
Thank you.
So excited for everybody. Okay, and just to let everybody know, because I know we have some students here, we've got about 3 more quick items, and then we'll go into our, hopefully go into our closed session. We will sign your signatures before our closed session, though. So just a couple more minutes here. So with that, I will go on to our next item, which is entering into closed session for our attorney-client privilege communications. Do we have a motion for this?
I move.
Thank you.
I move that Commissioner Kenneth Funk be reappointed.
Oh, no, sorry, we're on the,
Oh, closed session. Oh,
could
sorry.
we-
see,
Okay.
she was already 2 items ahead. She's
Yeah.
ready to be done, guys.
I was going to skip
Question
that till
first.
the
Lance, go
end.
ahead.
I do have a
I
question.
move that the city commission.
I was going to ask a question.
Oh, I'm
real quick.
sorry.
Sorry. Could we amend the agenda to do the appointments first and then go into closed session?
We go to closed session after final public comment. It's in the
Okay,
motion.
okay.
Yep,
Well,
sorry.
apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Read the
okay.
motion
Go
then.
ahead, Heather. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're on it.
I move that the city commission enter into closed session immediately following, the public comment portion of the agenda to discuss an attorney-client communication as authorized by MCL 15.268, parentheses H.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Shaw and Mayor Pro Tem Ness. All in favor?
This is a roll call vote.
Oh, yeah, that says, thank you. I always forget that. Go ahead, Sarah.
Commissioner Treadwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Funk,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ness,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bomer,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Motion passes. We will go into that after final public comment. We will take care of all our business and no anticipated action afterwards. So we won't be coming back for motion, correct? Or is there?
It depends.
Okay,
It
there's
could- it
potential,
could be.
sorry.
Yep.
Okay, with that, Heather, would you like to take our next item is?
I would be happy to. The Kenneth Funk one?
Yes, please.
I move that Commissioner Kenneth Funk be reappointed as commission representative to the term expiring June 30th, 2027 on the Traverse City and Garfield Township Recreational Authority Board.
Second.
All right, I'm going to give that to Anderson. Any further discussion on that? Thank you, Commissioner.
This is a great board, and I've felt honored to serve on it and work with some great people. So I appreciate the opportunity to continue to do that.
Thanks for your continued service. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, and then our other one is the Garfield Township Recreation Board for a nominee here. And it's taking me a second to load, so if anybody wants to start,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
can-
Jackie.
Oh.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Okay.
okay.
Um,
You guys are so
I'm-
polite, I appreciate it.
I move that Laura Ness be reappointed to the term expiring June 30, 2029 on the Traverse City and Garfield Township Recreational Authority Board as recommended by the ad hoc committee consisting of Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Bomer, and Commissioner Funk.
Support.
Thank you, Commissioners Bomer and Anderson. Any further comment on this? Yes, Mitch?
Yes, in our previous motion, we did appoint a city commission representative. We do have many boards and commissions that have designated, as this one does, members of the city commission that sit on them, or a acknowledged advantage to having a city commissioner, but that role is already filled, so I do not see a reason why we would need two commissioners when they could be filled by a commissioner and a member of the public.
Go ahead, Ken.
I'll provide some some
Context.
communication context in regard to that. That's a great point, and it was brought up in our ad hoc when we discussed the appointment to this. Laura Ness is currently serving as a chair of the Rec Authority, and we have several new members on the board going through a little bit of transition and growth right now, along with a change in the event organization management as well right now. So we wanted to see our chair continue to operate in her capacity for a period of time until we're anticipating it will be 2 years to the end of that term. But Laura has suggested that she does not want to serve after this term. And she did arm wrestle Richard Lewis for the appointment as well, and she won. So.
All right, well,
And
thank you.
Mitchell, if you do have concerns, it is allowed in the Rec Authority bylaws. It specifically states at least one member of each participating municipality's legislative body shall be appointed to the board.
Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bomer?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ness?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes?
Commissioner Funk?
Yes.
Commissioner Treadwell?
No.
Mayor?
Yes. All right, motion passes. On to reports and announcements. Does anybody have any reports from their respective boards? Go ahead, Mitch.
Well, for tomorrow at the Planning Commission, we're going to have a discussion about a rezoning request immediately adjacent to the proposed Tommy's Car Wash. So I do expect that we will have updates on how that is developing, and it will be significantly informed by our process going forward, as we discussed today, requiring special land use permits for auto-centric uses.
Thank you. Any other updates? Go ahead, Lance.
And I noticed that the public commenter has left, but the public comment regarding the $150,000 in TCLP fees that are absorbed, both Mayor Pro Tem Ness and myself brought this up during the budget meeting. I just wanted to address that. We saw that, and the entire board was on board with looking at removing that and starting to potentially charge for those fees so that the taxpayer is not absorbing them. So I just wanted to let that person know and the public know that this is something that we are paying attention to.
Thank you for that. Anything else from our commissioners? All right. With that, now we will go into final public comment. This can be about anything, not just any specific agenda item. You can share how your day went, or you can talk about the budget or anything else you'd like to. Please feel free to approach the podium.
Hello, everybody. I had this whole speech prepared, and I can see you're all very diligently working on it. So I'm going to completely change everything I was going to say, pretty much. But my name is Azadril Davis. I reside at 2931 North Lamb in Interlaken. I am not a city resident, but as always, I come before you to speak about things that know no borders. I spent the better part of the last 3 years putting everything of me into a paper that I wrote about homelessness in our area. And again, I can see that you have all made that a priority to make sure that people are housed. And I'm actually really moved because I think
Take your time.
oh no. I've seen such big changes, and I'm just really proud. So thank you.
And if you have a few minutes right after the meeting, I'd like to share a couple things with you, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wasn't supposed to do that.
Thank you. We appreciate your sincerity and for your willingness to speak. Do we have any other public comment tonight? Okay, seeing none, I will say that we are going to go into our closed session with possible action at the end. And all the students who need signatures, come up and grab them right now. We won't make you wait until our public's, and anybody up here around there can sign for you.
Thank you. Hi.
He's on leave. On leave.
Uh,
down a horse. Doesn't matter. Who'd we lose? We
need
didn't lose Mitch. for
Jackie and Heather. Jackie and Heather.
She's coming.
I'm used to just looking for Mitch.
I'm here.
I know you are. Very good.
That was just kind of like a little gift at the beginning.
Okay, we're back in session after our closed session, and Lance, did you want to?
Yes, I move that the city commission direct the city manager to hire outside municipal counsel to provide an opinion on the relationship between historic districts ordinance, the city charter, and the historic districts state statute, as recommended by the city attorney with a budget not to exceed $15,000.
Second.
As recommended by the city attorney.
As recommended by the city attorney, correct.
Okay.
Laura gets that.
Okay, we'll give it to him. Okay, any discussion on this item? Okay, any public comment on this item? I know it's very informal because we're the only people here, but.
Decided anything about the petitions that
You'll be hearing from me, or from city staff in the next few days officially. I just need to confer with the city attorney, but you will be hearing something, and we will be officially acknowledging receipt of the petitions, and the rest of that story will be communicated in writing after I can confer with our city attorney a little more.
So pardon me for saying that I've heard something to that effect.
Well, we're saying it on the record now in a meeting.
I hope this finally can get moved forward. It's, I'm very puzzled by this whole process, that this doesn't seem like something that should have been in a closed session, that it seemed like it's a policy, and that it should have been, at least some parts of this, should have been talked about and acted upon in public. Because your citizens were acting under a law that's not, to this date, been declared invalid or unconstitutional or anything like that. And yet, it's been delayed and no action has been taken for 9-10 months now with no word to the citizens that have petitioned you. And I really hope that you would understand how wrong that seems to us citizens. To have been ignored in that way and to have been left out of the conversation and to have no understanding of what was going on or if anything was ever going to happen. Is that how our government's supposed to work? I'm just dumbfounded by it. I know lawsuits can be threatened and you're worried about all kinds of things like that, but you know, there are different pieces to this, and yet the whole thing was just shut down unilaterally, and you left your citizens out, and that really can destroy trust. And I think it's going to take a while for the city, for your citizens, for you guys to regain that trust. And it's not you guys necessarily, our staff. Anyway, I look forward to hearing from you. I hope.
Any other public comment?
Fred Bimber, 1223 Randolph Street. I would ask in connection with this to be informed of the outside counsel chosen to do this. Not that I am saying I have any sort of say in that, but would like to be informed early in the process as to who that counsel is. Also, I do think one of the most significant things about this is simply how local residents have been treated by city staff. And it's been very poorly. Thank you.
Any other public comment from our one other member of the public? Thank you. All right, with that, I will bring it back for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening.
15 minutes earlier.
I gotta go home. I gotta relieve my mom. My husband's.